Hey, what up YouTube? Hope you're well. I posted a little video a while ago and mentioned this one, the Sony RX1R. And I always sound like a pirate when I say that, RX1R. Anyway, I posted a video and I mentioned in it that I would give you a review of this one if anyone was interested. And one person was. So today I'm going to give you a little review of it, of this camera, and I thought I'd start off by showing you a size comparison. So this is the stripped down version, i.e. there is no lens hood on, there is a UV filter, but no grip and no lens hood on it right now. So yeah, that's how big it is. Now this is the Ricoh GR3X, so we can just compare those two right there. You can see it's about as thick, just a smidgen taller, but that fantastic lens does protrude somewhat at the front, so it's not quite as pocketable. Now in a minute I'm going to cut to a screencast where I'm going to show you a homepage that I use when I'm looking at the size of cameras. Sometimes I like to pick up another niche camera, and one of the first things I do is actually check out how big it is, and so I use this homepage called camerasize.com, and I'll show you that in a second. And you will hear the sound change because the sound will be coming through the microphone ports on a little MacBook Air, so just bear with me. But anyway, this is the Sony RX1R. That monster by the side of it is the Sony A7 II. This now belongs to my wife. I can use it, of course, if I want to, but I gave this one my wife when I upgraded to the Sony A7 III. So I'm just going to cut to the screencast now, and I'll show you that homepage, and then you can pick out your camera and see how much bigger or smaller this thing is if you're considering one. Okay, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk about the features and the age and what it can do and what it can't do. Okay. Okay, this is the homepage in question, and it is called camerasize.com. Okay, you click here, get started. Just close that, some weird advert, and then you go over here on this little link, cameras with lenses. Click on that. Now what you do is you select the camera and add it to the display. Okay, so I'll just make this bigger, and we'll start off with the Sony. It's actually a CyberShot line, this one, so Sony CyberShot, and then scroll down, and there we have the RX1. And it's exactly the same size as the RX1R, so that's fine. Just select that, click add, and there we have the Sony RX1. Now I'm going to compare that, as you saw in the live demo, to the Ricoh GR3. Add that. There you can see it's pretty accurate. Now we're going to add what I was originally looking for, and that was a Leica Q. Now, I discovered the Ricoh GR3 and I discovered the Sony RX1 because I was deep into research phase and was considering getting the Leica Q. I saw the Leica Q quite a while ago and ended up getting my first Ricoh GR simply because of the price. The GR is a fixed lens 28mm. The Leica Q is a fixed lens 28mm. That's an equivalent because it's an APS-C and this is a full frame sensor. So the field of view is about the same, although this lens is real Leica. So it's a 1.7 zoom. It looks fantastic lens, but still a 28mm. And on a full frame sensor, not that easy to do zone focusing and snap shooting as it is on the GR. But having added it to this now, you can see what my dilemma was. Now, I'm into small compact cameras. I've done away with my A7 III. I've given my wife my A7 II, and anything that I feel is too big, I'm not interested in, because as they say, the best camera is the one you have with you, and the pocketability of the Ricoh GR is just fantastic. It's pretty much smaller than my iPhone, so there's no problem taking that. This one is a little bit bigger and not quite as pocketable because of the lens, but just look at the Q. That is considerably bigger. If I just remove the GR3 right now, click on the X there, and find the Sony A7 III that I sold recently. I've got one there. I'm going to add that into the mix, position that alongside the Q, and now you can really see that the Q body is actually taller than A7 III, and they're just as wide. These buttons over here give you some other angles, and there you can see. And you know, the money I'd been saving up for the Q was burning a hole in my pocket, and then disaster struck, and I actually saw the size of it. So let's just get the A7 III out of the way, and now you can see just how small the RX1 and the RX1R are compared to the Leica Q, and it's quite a difference. This is just about pocketable in a winter coat and overcoat. So yeah, take a look, put your own camera in, put the camera in that you want to buy, maybe compare the sizes. But I think this size for a full frame compact camera on the RX1R that probably inspired the Leica. It's quite amazing, I think. Okay, now back to the video. Right, well, now we're back. I'll start off by rattling off a few specs. 24 megapixel full frame sensor with no anti-aliasing filter, leaf shutter, Carl Zeiss Sonar 35mm f2 lens, built-in flash, and an optional very high quality EVF. If we take a quick look at the construction of the camera, you can see that just like the Leica Q, we have fixed lens, clicky aperture ring, goes from f2 up to f22. You've got this collar here that changes the lens from normal shooting to close focus or macro mode. Manual focusing ring here. 49mm filter thread. Right now I have a 49mm UV filter on, mainly just to protect the front lens element. Up here you have the main dial. We have manual mode, shutter speed priority, aperture priority, program mode, auto mode, scene mode, I believe that's panorama, movie mode, and then 3 customizable positions. You got your on-off switch here, shutter here, and it's a threaded shutter. You've got 1 customizable button here that's not really assigned to, that can be assigned to anything, of course, the button C. You've got your exposure compensation dial here. On the back, we have the button for the pop-up flash, a mechanical button, playback mode. We have this rear dial here, just under the thumb, and in shooting in manual mode, for example, that would be a great place to assign the shutter speed. So you've got your aperture on the lens, shutter speed here, and just let your ISO run in auto. So you've got like partial manual. So FN button for the quick menu, and then you have the wheel, the rear wheel, with a pushable button in the middle. The wheel rotates, and it's also pressure sensitive on the north, south, east and west. So you can assign functions to these. They do have normal assignments like drive mode and ISO, white balance, etc. It's a shame they're not labelled, that's a bit of a negative. Then you've got the main menu button, trash can for deleting, and the movie mode button over here as well. On the left side, we have this little door that clicks and locks. I don't believe the camera is weather sealed, but yeah, that's just the way it is. So at the top here, we have a micro USB port for charging and data transfer. Got a micro HDMI port, and we've got a microphone jack if you want to use this for filming and use an external mic. So underneath we have mount, and then here we have the battery door here and a single SD card slot. As you can see, the batteries are quite small, look a lot like the size of batteries that you can get for the Leica GR, although this one does last a bit longer. So that's the camera. Now let's get the negatives out of the way, okay? No Wi-Fi, no ND filter built in like the Ricoh, no highlight metering like the Ricoh, no IBIS, no image in-body image stabilization. Without the IBIS, it's not as easy to shoot at low shutter speeds, so your miss rate is going to be slightly higher in poor light conditions, especially, you know, handheld. If you've got it on a tripod, then it doesn't matter. Or not very customizable, and I'm going to show you a menu feature in a minute that is in the early evolutionary stage of the Sony menus, so slightly worse than the A7. In particular, I'm thinking of the FN button here. It's a bit slow to start up. I'll just switch it off. Now we're off now. A lot slower than the GR if you want to compare those two. But we're going to switch on. And when you see the battery icon up in the top, you're ready to go. There. So a few seconds to start up. It will be difficult to zone focus on this thing. There is no zone focus or snap focus feature. It does have a manual looking lens, like just like a Leica Q, but it doesn't have a depth of field scale on it. You know, you've got your aperture markings here, but there's no depth of field scale. And Sony cameras, in my experience with this one, the RX100, the A7 II, the A7 III, are pretty bad at coping with distance scales in general. In this form that it's in now, you can see it's a really small, sleek body. The lens isn't front heavy. It can stand up on its own like that, but it is a small body, and I think you do need a grip, a third party or original grip from Sony. Like I said, the menu is showing its age. The firmware on this is stuck at version 1.0. Not this particular camera, but all of them. Sony never released any firmware updates for this. This is the Mark II. The RX1R is the Mark II, and it's different from the Mark I only in the fact that it has no anti-aliasing filter on the sensor. So that's what makes this one the RX1R, and the R means resolution, to get the best out of this lens and sensor combo. I wish it had the built-in EVF like the Mark III version. There is a third version of this camera, the RX1R Mark II, they call that. It's actually the third that has a built-in EVF like the RX100 series from the version 3 and up, and that slots down here, and so you don't get a built-in flash. The batteries will get you about 250 shots. I was fortunate that when I bought this, I paid about $1,000 in all, and I got a lot of accessories, 2 batteries, external charger, the external EVF. This is a very, very good EVF, but it's external. If I put this on the camera, and I'll show you in a minute, this makes it even less pocketable. I got 2 lens hoods. The original from Sony was dented, not quite round anymore. This is the metal lens cap, and this is a grip which makes it a lot better to hold. So I'm going to put these things on and show you. Now, the Sony accessories are very expensive. When you buy it, you get the camera, you get the lens cap, you get 1 battery, and you get a charger with a micro USB connector. So you do your charging in camera. Now, I got the external charger. I have since bought 2 extra batteries, but this was $2,800 when it was available. The EVF was $450. The original Sony lens hood, which you do not get with it, was about $200. So you can see it's creeping up to about $3,400 for the original Sony gear. I'm not sure how much this cost. I was lucky this came with it, and there's an external charger as well. So all in all, the gear is around about $3,500, and I got it for $1,000. So the price dropped considerably, but it's still a fantastic camera. Do I think it's still worth it in 2021? Yes, I do, because now we're going to get to the pros with this thing. So the biggest pro is, of course, this fantastic lens and a full frame sensor. At f2, it gives you a lovely bokeh. It's not a nervous bokeh in the background, so you can do some great portraits with it. And it's just incredibly sharp, very, very detailed, and the sensor just pairs really well with this lens, and you get all of the detail out of it. I haven't tried the very first version with the anti-aliasing filter, but I have been looking at several social media groups, Facebook, Flickr, and the images I've seen coming out of the first version, the RX1, they look fantastic as well. You really have to be a pixel peeper, I think, to see the improvements that came with this one. So let's put the grip on, so you can see how the grip improves it, makes it a little bit chunkier, and so again makes it even less pocketable. But the grip just screws into the mount like that and gives you this slightly deeper front grip and gives it some better handling capability. And you get access to the battery and SD card door there, although it is difficult to get the SD card out when the grip is on. Now, this hot shoe mount is not your everyday hot shoe mount. There are, I don't know if you can see that, but there are a row of connectors in there. that will let you connect this EVF. I'll just switch the camera off while I connect this. Take this little plastic cover off, and the EVF slots in place there and makes a connection. On the right side of the EVF is a diopter, so if you wear reading glasses, you will probably be able to use this camera without your glasses. It tilts up and down. It's a 2.3 million dot OLED, very bright, and works really well. But I don't tend to take it out that much. It doesn't have a tilt screen, but the screen is quite bright and quite legible, even outside in bright sunlight. So this isn't a must for me, but you know, it's a $450 EVF that came with it for free, so I'm quite happy with that. Turn the camera on now. Now I am in aperture priority mode right now, and I'm just going to show you, this is the main menu. Pretty typical Sony stuff so far. Not that many pages compared to, for example, an A7 III. It seems okay, but the biggest, I would say, disappointment would be the FN button here. This FN function button on an A7 II and an A7 III gives you that double row of quick menu options that you can customize each and every one and change out what you want on them. Now when I press the FN button on this one, I'll just bring it up a little closer. You can see you get two strips of functions down each side of the screen. So right now we're on the creative style, and we got white balance settings there, flash compensation, metering mode, and over here we got drive mode, flash, autofocus area, soft skin functions. You can't change these out, okay? They're fixed. So that's a bit of a disappointment, and it's a bit confusing, I find, to look at that, the normal shooting mode screen, and then look at this, and that kind of just activates that. There's no touch screen on this, so you have to use these buttons, and then you can go up and down there. So this is like a really early incubated version of the Sony quick menu, which was improved considerably, and that was one of the things that Sony might have been able to fix if they hadn't kept the firmware at version 1 and never posted any updates, but that's it. Okay, so that's the camera, and like I said, the reason to buy this thing is the compact size, the full frame, and this fantastic Zeiss lens. Slower than the Ricoh GR3, definitely. The GR3, the GR3X are lightning fast at starting up, taking pictures, just fantastic cameras. But they won't get you the shallow depth of field that this thing can do. So this is more versatile with where the depth of field is concerned. It can get you shallow, it can get you deep. But it won't be as fast as the GR. But that means I use this for different things. I slow down. I like taking slightly tighter environmental portraits with this one. Get a couple of people in shot, get down to f2, f2.8, and isolate them from the background, get a nice bokeh, and the lens is just fantastic. It's like I said, it's not a nervous bokeh, it's really, really nice. So that is the camera. Is it worth it in 2021? I'd say for what I paid for it, just slightly less than a Ricoh GR. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how many shots it's taken. The EXIF data in this particular image won't reveal how many shutter actuations there have been, but it does have a leaf shutter. It shoots, it's totally silent and has fantastic image quality, great detail. It has cropping modes. It can shoot at 16:9 format, which is really nice for landscapes. Is this worth it in 2021? I think so, but you've got to get the right price. I got the camera, the filter, the lens hood, the box, the papers, the manuals, the EVF, the grip, 2 batteries, external charger. So I got a really good package for that $1,000, which comes out slightly cheaper than a Ricoh GR3X. Now I'm in the privileged position of owning 3 cameras right now, and I can also borrow my old A7 II from my wife. I still have got quite a few lenses for that one. I've got 2 GRs, GR3 and the GR3X, and this. Those are the cameras I use a lot. If I desperately had to get rid of one camera to fund something else, I would probably get rid of a GR right now. Which one? I don't know. The X or the regular 3. One of them would probably have to go, and I would keep this. If I only had one GR and this, and I had to choose between the GR or this one to get rid of, I would probably get rid of this and keep a GR. And okay, I think I've just come to another conclusion. This being a 35 with a full frame sensor, if I had to get rid of one of the GRs and keep this, I would probably get rid of the 40mm GR or the 40mm equivalent, the GR3X, simply because the GR3 with the 28mm equivalent, you just cannot beat snap focus on that thing, and you can always crop. So the GR3 is slightly or quite a lot better actually at snap and zone focusing than the new one, and so I would probably keep the original GR3 and this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you don't think I talked about enough details about this camera, let me know down in the comments, and we can talk about it again sometime. That's it for now. Bye. Stay safe. See ya.